Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
All right.
All right.
Hey. Hi, everyone.
Ah.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched www.feardotcom.com. Yeah.
The website in the film is FeardotCom.com.
Let's do it.
Detective, we've got a white male, 54 years old.
What happened to him? Must have been into computers, this guy.
Do you want to see more?
We have another one.
There are 5 bodies so far.
Oh my god. The one thing that all the victims have in common is the fear site.
We gotta get these computers checked out.
I'm waiting for you. Don't you want to play with me?
Every one of these victims died 2 days to the minute after they first logged on to the fear site.
Things on that site no one has ever seen before.
It's spreading.
Police!
There's no telling how many are infected.
Oh, man. Yeah, Tom, I'm excited. So this is Thursday, which means this very spooky episode was brought to you by The Ghost of Dave Thomas.
Oh, man, how appropriate. How appropriate.
Who, made us do this. Made us watch I think 2002?
2002.
Fear.com from the writer of Simon Says, Tom.
Yeah, that checks out.
Well, all right, it gets weirder. Also wrote Universal Soldier, Day of Reckoning, which is a good movie, but I wouldn't say for the writing. Also is the producer of Time Cop, Hard Target, Double Team, and Sudden Death.
Okay.
So, yeah, not sure.
So the question is, why wasn't Van Damme in this movie?
Yes. He could have been, I don't know,
he could have
scary
been,
doctor.
Yeah, oh yeah. I was going to say he could have been Steven Dorff, but it would have been way better if he was the scary doctor.
Yeah. This is also from the director of the remake of The House on Haunted Hill.
It checks out.
Yep. As you can tell by the presence of those weird, grotesque statues.
The body art and
Yep.
like bisection stuff.
They just reused the set. And Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah.
Kind of a frumpy Jeffrey Combs in this.
Yeah, he's a real grizzled Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah. Tom, how did you like Fear.com?
This movie is so boring.
It's also trash.
It's so boring. I thought I was going to cry.
Yeah.
At how boring this film was.
Here's the thing. I like the remake of House on Haunted Hill.
So do I.
Yeah, not because it has a shitty ending, but a lot of the lead up is very good, and you have Jeffrey Rush just being amazing,
being Vincent Price.
Film. Yeah, just being Vincent Price. Yeah, great cast. Solid Chris Kattan.
Yeah, Chris Kattan really lights up the screen.
Yeah, not necessarily a good movie, but I think this movie, Fear.com, I think people have a responsibility to watch it. Because I think it represents everything that was wrong with horror in the early 2000s.
Almost everything.
Yeah. It has almost every cliche. It
has almost every cliche. I will give the movie credit for not being PG-13.
Yeah, sure. That's fair.
That's about all I'm going to give it credit for, is that it actually has a couple of gnarly visuals in it because it didn't go for PG-13.
Right.
It's an R-rated movie.
And it's got Stevie Dorff.
It does. It has Steven Dorff in it.
Yeah. But this has a ghost revenge plot, which is very early 2000s. It has a creepy little girl.
Mm-hmm.
It has a torture doctor.
Mm-hmm.
It has CGI ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
It has the high-tech haunting aspect, like, oh, it's a haunted videotape, or it's a haunted... It's kind of The Ring.
It's the Ring mashed up with, like, The Cell. Like, it's the Ring... It's like The Ring got into an accident with a serial killer movie.
Right, and that's the final thing it has. It has the We Wanna Be Seven or The Cell music video imagery, that, like, the Dutch angles, and where it ends up, like, not having a single scary moment in the movie. And that's the final problem with movies of this era, is when CGI showed up, horror movies suddenly forgot that less is more. For like a couple years, horror movies lost their fucking minds.
Yeah, they went buck wild. Like this, it used to be, like you just said, less is more. Like for budgetary reasons and for other reasons, not seeing the whole fucking thing is scarier. And it also saves you money.
Yeah, I don't need to see a phantom explode into cockroaches. That isn't scary.
No.
Especially when it's all CG.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not... It's They were trying to do what, like, gore movies used to do, because here's the thing, a movie like The Evil Dead shows everything, too. But it's so grotesque and practical...
Yeah.
And, like, that movie isn't also... that movie does understand how to be scary at times, too, by not showing things. But, it always escalates. These movies, like this and Darkness Falls, and really just those two movies.
Those are the only two movies.
Just those.
Those are the only two movies that exist.
13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
13 Ghosts remake, and even the House on Haunted Hill remake, they all, like, just show... At the end, it escalates to some CGI ghoul that's just cuts all the tension out.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is no different.
I mean, House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts are better than this movie.
Yes. They are better than this movie.
Yeah.
I should say The Haunting is a better example. That movie is a real piece of shit.
That movie sucks buttholes.
The remake. The original's great, but the remake...
Yeah, the Jan de Bont one.
Yeah, with an amazing cast, and just... Why did they make that movie? It's the... it doesn't matter. Kind of matters. This movie is... For people who've never seen it, which is most of the people listening, this movie is about... a cop and a disease expert?
Yeah, she's like a health official.
Yeah, and he, I guess, deputizes her?
Yeah, I don't know. This movie plays it real fast and loose, because, like, he shows up.
Right.
So this is one of the most baffling parts of the movie, is how her character is introduced.
Yes.
Is he and his partner, Jeffrey Combs...
Yes.
What a pairing, by the way.
Yeah,
Stephen Dorff and Jeffrey Combs are partners in this movie.
I want a whole series on those two.
Yeah. They show up at this... I forget even why they're at this house.
Well, there's a subway. It starts with a...
It starts with Udo Kier getting hit by a train.
Yes, and I guess we should just go through the movie, because I need to... He's in the train station. Every moment of this film is dark and gloomy. Everything looks like the movie Dark City, but bad.
Right. Every moment of this movie is too dark to see and is in some kind of wild Dutch angle, so you can't really get your bearings, and then all of a sudden it's a new shot and you have to start all over again. This movie sucks.
It sucks.
This movie is so exhausting.
Udo Kier's on the subway, and he's spooked out by a little girl with a ball, and he sees her go onto the subway tracks, and so he jumps down on the subway tracks, and it was already bizarre. She, like, vanishes. Mm-hmm. She's no longer an issue. He runs to the side of the tracks because the train's coming, so he runs to where you can avoid the train.
Kind of. Like, I feel like he probably still would have gotten crushed there.
I don't know. He huddles against the wall. Well... okay, so that would explain it, because it looked like he had space, and then he runs to try to jump all the way.
Yeah, and then he gets hit.
He's like a raccoon on a road on a highway. Mm-hmm. Like, he's weaving back and forth and doesn't know what he needs to do.
Yeah, they can't make up his mind whether or not to go back or just keep going. Right. I think that's what it is. Is like he was trying to mush himself up against the wall and then realized, well, this isn't going to work. I'm just going to get like the front 3 inches of my body ripped off by this train.
Shave my face off. Everybody dies in a Final Destination way, by the way, which is weird for this movie.
Well, except the doesn't the computer lady jump out the window, or does she fall? I can't remember. It was all a blur.
But again, it's all ghosts don't kill anybody in this.
Right, like the hauntings are sort of like pushing them into killing themselves, essentially.
Or just like taking over that guy's car.
Oh no, wait. Yeah, they all die of like brain hemorrhages. Like they all have strokes.
Right.
Except for Udo Kier, he gets hit by a train.
Yes. I guess that was his worst fear. That
cause of death is very explicit.
They play it real fast and loose with the idea. The idea is there's a website that's www.FeardotCom.com. Mm-hmm. And if you go there, you'll watch a Ring-type video, but bad.
Yeah.
And you have like 48 hours to solve a riddle that most of the people don't get any clues.
Yeah.
Except for our hero character, for some reason.
Right. She decides to start helping out these two.
Yeah. And then in that time, you die via your worst fear, which in Udo Kier's case was, I guess, getting hit by a train.
Apparently trains.
And then her boss, our main character's boss, dies because his car goes out of control. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's his worst fear. Then the hacker lady is bugs, which causes her to jump out a window. Mm-hmm. And then there's the Germans, and that guy dies from jail.
Yeah,
jail is his worst fear.
I
guess we just don't know.
Yeah, he gets like the fear stroke.
Yeah,
where he just dies in custody, and the woman in the bathtub, like his German girlfriend, also dies of like the brain hemorrhage. It's just,
but she's afraid of drowning.
She's afraid of drowning. Yeah, but for some reason she climbed into a bathtub. I don't know.
It's not clear. Mm-hmm. So Steven Dorff is investigating Udo Kier's death, and they're bleeding out their eyes. So they call our main character, who I forget the name of.
Terry?
Sure. She's a disease expert, and she shows up and goes, nope, not Ebola. And then what should happen is they say, okay, thank you for your time.
Well, she shows up at a different crime scene. That was the baffling thing that I was trying to get to.
Oh, she shows up at the German
She shows
house.
up at the German lady who's dead in the bathtub, and it's just it's detectives Steven Dorff and Jeffrey Combs are there for some reason. I don't remember why they're going to this person's house.
I think isn't it because the German guy freaked out in like the police station or something?
Yeah, that's right.
They bring him in, and they're like, this guy's losing his mind.
Yeah.
And then he dies in the jail cell, so they go to his house.
He dies in the jail cell while they're gone.
Okay, yeah.
He gets the phone call that he's dead while they're at the house.
They suspect a disease early on, and no one has protection until later. Hazmat guys come in.
Mm-hmm. Well, my point
is just in time to tell them there's no disease.
Right? Yeah, that they've cleared it of Ebola in like 20 minutes. My point is they go out to a crime scene that's not obviously related to disease or anything of any kind. It's just the German guy came in and started ranting, so they went to his house. They find his girlfriend dead in the bathtub, and then the disease lady is just there.
Yeah.
Why is she there? How did she know to go there? Like, who sent her there?
The screder. They needed her to go there.
Yeah, she just appears there, and I was like, that would not happen.
We also need to note that Udo Kier dies holding a book titled The Secret Soul of the Internet. That comes into play.
Kind of.
Or does it?
They talk to like his partner that he wrote the book with, and as far as I can remember, it really doesn't advance the plot in any way.
He just like the partner just insults the movie we're in.
Basically.
He's like, yeah, we made a book about how the internet's haunted. Isn't that dumb? There's no science or anything to back it up. Anyway, bye. Right. And then they're like, the internet's haunted, you say.
He literally said, I just needed some money, so I wrote it. So that's like the screenwriter just being like, yeah, I needed some money, so I wrote Feard.com.
You're right. That might have been the screenwriter just adding themselves in the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, they find a videotape where they film themselves going on a web page.
Yeah,
the
among
Germans,
other things.
And from here on, the virus lady just hangs out. Mm-hmm. Even after they learn it's not a virus. She's just there now.
It's a haunting, which I guess is a kind of virus.
Sure. Yeah, and no one's like, you can go. This doesn't concern you. Never comes up. She's just Steven Dorff's partner.
Yeah.
It's really strange. Then there's the B plot, which is a terrifying man sees a woman working, and he's filming her. Mm-hmm. And he goes up and he's like, "Hi, I'm sorry I've been filming you. It's just...
I experience the world through a lens. Anyway, you want to come to this theater later at night and film a movie?" And she goes. And
the theater is in an alleyway. She's walking through an alleyway. It's like that fucking scene in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you got to get out of there.
Yeah.
And instead...
The theater looks like the fucking Foot Clan headquarters. Yeah. Like in the first Turtles movie. It's the most crimey place anyone has ever seen.
So this woman goes to the dark alleyway where the creepy guy with the camera told her to go because he thinks she'd be great in a movie he's making. Mm-hmm. A person he met on the street who's not an actress. He didn't meet her in an audition. She's working the counter of like a theater or something.
Yeah, he just follows her as she walks across the street and does some shit.
Surprise, surprise, he turns out to be a maniac. And so she gets kidnapped, and it's kind of like The Cell, where throughout the movie, this poor lady is just strapped to a fucking Marilyn Manson chair.
Yeah.
Just getting tortured, but never actually being, like, hurt. You notice that? I mean, I'm not saying I needed her to be hurt. I'm just saying that the movie kept showing, like, oh, he's torturing her. Yeah. And then there's just not a scratch on her.
There's a couple of scratches. I was reading about this movie. Apparently, this movie originally got an NC-17 for graphic violence and torture. So wow. I think they took a lot of it out.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, for a few reasons, because this movie is just really feels like it had all its teeth pulled, and also like this dude's previous movie, House on a Haunted Hill, pretty gory.
Yeah,
so it's like it's weird that this one kind of doesn't really have any.
No, not much. It's the gore is there's some gore, but it's not. It's all like CG.
Yeah, it's mostly like people getting nosebleeds and bleeding out of their eyes.
Yeah,
and don't get. I mean, that's metal, but like I don't know.
There's a part where the guy gets his head peeled off.
Yeah,
but it's again, like, it's CG, and it's not. It doesn't look real.
It doesn't look real. It's not in the movie's.
It's not happening for real. It's happening in the dream ghost world.
I was gonna say briefly in the movie's defense. That's probably the only time I will use that phrase in this episode. It's not supposed to look real because he's like getting mind haunted at that point.
Yeah, the mind haunting I'm unclear on, but whatever.
Yeah,
I guess that's what the ghost is doing to everyone. I guess.
Yeah, it was just an excuse to throw in some kind of cool imagery.
Right. So they realize that they're going to a webpage. Steven Dorff, somewhere in this, reveals that he's been hunting a serial killer. Coincidentally, has been hunting a serial killer.
Right. Like he brings him up without it having any connection. Like he just starts looking at this old case file that has like a taunting letter this mad doctor sent him for no reason. It does not seem to connect to these dead people at all, and it really kind of doesn't.
But it also does, because the ghost is the victim of this killer,
right?
It turns out, by a wild coincidence. Mm-hmm. He's just like, he looked on a webpage. That kind of reminds me of how this guy was killing people on web pages, and we couldn't catch him for some reason. And it's like, why couldn't you catch this person? Because I'm pretty sure you can't broadcast yourself, even in the early 2000s. You can't broadcast yourself killing people without that catching up to you pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm pretty sure they have ways to figure that one out.
Fucking Amazon knows where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like when I look at a book. So if I was broadcasting a murder for 2 days, I think they'd be able to find me.
That's the other thing. He's broadcasting it for days.
Yeah.
And he says we can't catch him because he keeps changing the web page. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense.
I think you might be a bad detective, Steven Dorff.
And by the way, that webpage isn't FeardotCom.com. That's a totally different webpage.
Yes.
That's the revenge web page that the victim's ghost, I guess, created.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Like she's paying like a monthly fee to like Squarespace or something.
She has to be, right?
Yeah.
That's how domains work.
She has to be paying for that domain name.
It didn't even occur to me.
Yeah.
That's oh my God.
Yeah.
This movie is a mess.
Yeah.
So they go, all right, before they investigate the book that Udo Kier was holding, because at one point they're like, we have nothing. So let's just, I don't know, he was holding a book when he died. Let's go talk to the author.
Maybe that book, and nope, the book doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. Stephen Dorff goes to his hacker friend who lives in the lobby of a nightclub, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she, how did they find out about Fear.com? She does hacker stuff,
She
right?
does it, yeah. She takes, they realize that all the victims had smashed computers. So Stephen Dorff, displaying the only bit of detective intuition he does in the movie, says, well, we should probably check out what's on those computers, right? Maybe there's something there. So he brings the hard drives to this lady, and she begins to like recover the stuff on them, and she recovers the website from them.
Okay. I remember the line, I think he's actually talking about the killer's websites, because everybody's watching them, and he says, why do you think their ratings are so high on those reality disaster shows? And I just thought that was a perfect line. Perfectly written line.
Yeah, what is that? Are there...
those reality disaster
Were there reality shows in 2002 showing like earthquakes and shit?
I think they're talking about like when animals attack in like 95 or something. This movie, might have been written...
like real stories of the highway patrol.
Yeah, I expect this movie was written like a decade before it came out.
It is a very naive depiction of the internet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Jesus Christ. So that woman goes on Fear.com. Mm-hmm. There's a great pattern of people going on, Fear.com.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get it right.
Something bad happening, and the next person going, I better check out this website. And then something bad happening and going to the next person and be like, don't do it. Don't check out the website. And they're like, well, I better check out this website.
Right. They have two different characters. Like his hacker friend tells him about the website and then says, don't go there. Promise me you won't visit that site. And he visits it anyway. And then the same thing happens to him. And he tells the disease lady, don't go there. Promise me you won't visit that site. Like the verbatim dialogue. And she goes there too.
And both times they think like they can just text chat with the ghost website. Mm-hmm. They're like, who are you? Why did you kill these people? And it's like, she's not going to answer you. Like, that's not how this works. It's like if you get a call from Samantha from The Ring and you try to interrogate her. It's like, no, she's just here to tell you that you have 7 days. Mm-hmm. She's not going to tell you anything else.
Samara, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, she also hangs up pretty quick. Like, she's not leaving any room for questions.
Also, Stephen Dorff is the only person who gets hospitalized.
Yeah.
He can't handle it. He really can't hack it because everybody else handles it just fine. He has like one vision and he goes to the hospital. And do you know, like, why did that happen?
It was unclear.
Okay. Thank you. I'm just making sure. Because
it was really unclear. And I mean, everybody else kind of didn't handle it fine. Maybe that's why he went to the hospital.
Oh, no. Don't get me wrong. I would go to the hospital immediately.
Yeah.
But it's just very funny to me that everybody else, you go to fear.com, mm-hmm. and you watch the video, and then you start like seeing spooky stuff. Mm-hmm. And most of the people are like, oh no, that's weird. I got to figure it out. Or they start getting panic attacks. Mm-hmm. Stephen Dorff has one spooky vision, and then it's like hard cut to him in a stretcher going to the hospital.
Yeah, he taps the fuck out as soon as he sees a ghost.
He's just like, you're on your own, lady.
Yep. He pulls the ripcord. Nope.
Stephen Dorff he just bounces for like, I don't know, 30% of the film.
Right. He's out of the movie until the finale.
Yeah, because he just got scared.
Yeah, he saw one ghost and noped the fuck out.
And he called 911 and was like, I need you to bring a stretcher. I don't want to walk anymore. I don't want to drive to the hospital. I'm going to lay down here in my hallway and you come get me. Like, he doesn't, like, it was very unclear what was, like, wrong with him that he needed a stretcher.
I don't know.
So yeah, he just goes to the hospital, and this lady, she checks out the website. Also, the hacker lady jumps out a window, lands on a car like everybody does in every movie ever. Like whenever someone jumps out a window in a movie,
they land on a car.
They land in a car, and I get it. Like
it's a way to show them hitting the street without them actually hitting the street.
Also, you're gonna aim.
Yeah,
you're like,
probably.
Sweet, a car.
Yeah,
you know,
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it probably is like a stunt workaround or something. It's like, well,
yeah, I think so.
We want to show them hitting the street because that looks cool, but they can't land right on the ground. So have them bounce off the station wagon.
It's also shocking because it's always a car that someone's in.
Yeah.
Then, okay. She starts researching the victims. She goes to the police station, finds his case file on the serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember why she realizes to do this. It looks like an ancient book. Like she takes out this, like Jeffrey Combs takes out this big, like
right. She starts rooting through it, and Jeffrey Combs is just offering like very weak resistance, and then he's finally like, fine, I'll get it, and then he opens his filing cabinet and pulls out this tome.
Yeah,
like the Necronomicon,
filled with like files. And again, this woman isn't assigned. She's not a
police officer, yeah.
She was called briefly by the cops to investigate a disease. She is now just working at the police station.
Yeah, so she bursts in and starts rummaging through Stephen Dorff's desk, so Jeffrey Combs goes like, fine, and hands her an active case file.
Yeah. She goes through it. She looks at the first victim, goes to the victim's mom's house,
yeah,
and starts just investigating the murder.
Yeah.
The mom reveals that her little girl, and you see the picture of the little girl, and oh, surprise, surprise, it's the creepy girl everybody's seeing with the white ball that's filled with bugs.
The bug ball,
The bug ball.
It was a popular toy.
Yeah. They made her look like Village of the Damned. It's not a creepy child.
No, not really.
No. And we learn that she was killed and that she used to like to play at the old abandoned mill. Because I guess that's where kids play in this universe.
The sweatiest line.
She takes a picture. She goes on. So Fear.com, there's a ring video, and the ring video gives all these clues, including pictures of this mill. So she has like screen printed them out, and she shows them to the mother. It's like, do you recognize this? And she's like, oh yeah, that's like 4 blocks from here.
And that like, she used to play there as a kid.
Yeah. And my daughter, she used to play there as a kid at the old steel mill.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, you're a bad
the abandoned
mother.
tetanus and kidnapping factory.
Yeah. There's so many layers to that because she couldn't find that steel mill without asking someone, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And so she goes there and she sees an old blind lady.
Yeah, she's blind in one eye.
Okay.
Just the one eye.
And what does she say to her? She says, you seem like you're expecting me.
Yeah. And then the old lady doesn't say anything. And then she's like, where is she? And she points at the water.
Who is that lady? And why is she... When she says you seem like you're expecting me, she doesn't seem like that.
No,
but
she's just sitting. She just didn't react to her showing up.
So what is that lady's involvement in all this?
I don't know. Maybe that's like a temp that the ghost hired.
I have a theory. She has to do all the website stuff.
Yes, yeah, that's her tech guy. That's her IT professional.
Yeah. She's doing the Photoshop. She's doing all the graphics. Because someone has to.
Yeah, no, this bag lady is her gopher.
Yeah. Before this point, I had a note that was so funny because just going back into Stephen Dorff's condition, she visits him in the hospital, and he's lying in the hospital like groaning.
Right, he's having like a really intense dream.
Yeah, and I still don't know what's wrong with him.
Don't know what's wrong with him.
He's just scared. He's scared.
Yeah, he's spooked.
Yeah. So she digs up the dead girl's body. She finds it.
Yeah,
and
the
gets
dead girl's
scared.
body is there, which
it like moves, doesn't it?
It turns to look at her, but then when she rubs her eyes and looks back at it, it hasn't moved. She recovers the body, but the thing is, like, why? she goes there, like the mother tells her to go there because it was one of her daughter's favorite places to play. God knows, like that's we could spend an hour talking just about that.
Yeah.
Just talking about a fucking 7-year-old girl playing in this goddamn medieval factory. But the fact that her body is there means that that's where the killer dumped her.
Why would he dump her there?
Exactly. So like the level of coincidence here.
Yeah.
That her body just happens to be in the place where she played as a kid.
Yeah. Like why would the killer know that?
That was the dumbest line. Like why have the mother give her that line? I mean, why give the mother that line and be like, do you recognize any of these places? Oh yeah, that's the steel mill where she used to play as a child. Like why would
she say, "Oh, that's the steel mill,"
or like
it's
show
over there.
Yeah, or show those. I mean, but that still has the weird coincidence of it being 4 blocks away, and like that the killer happened to drop her body 4 blocks from her childhood home.
But you could say like, oh, he probably knew her. It's his serial killers often know their first victims,
right?
And maybe
yeah.
You know, like it'd be a little more plausible, not much more.
But I mean, all you would have had to do was like have her show the photo to Stephen Dorff, or have her show the photo to Jeffrey Combs, and have him just be like, "Oh yeah, that place is like in the city. I know where that is."
Yeah,
like it's just so strange to give that line to the mother.
The exposition in this film is wild.
It's garbage. Like this
because they needed the mother just to show, this is what she looks like as a little girl.
Yeah, that's the only reason she's in it.
And then they needed to get to the next thread, so they were have the mother bring her to the steel mill.
Yeah.
And that's where she finds the body. Why would the body be there? Doesn't matter.
We also get that she's a hemophiliac from the interaction with the mom.
Right.
Which starts the greatest fear thing, even though like nobody is killed by their greatest fear.
Right.
It's so fucking stupid, this movie.
So, continuing the thread, the body, they do an autopsy. And inside the body, they find a lipstick case with a rolled up note just giving the address of the killer.
The address of the killer's apartment, yeah. And they're like, she must have swallowed this before she died. And it's
she did what?
Okay. Like it has like on one side of the paper, it's like revenge against the guilty or something, or the guilty will be punished. And on the other side of the paper is his home address. When did she write that?
When did she write it? Because they show that the killer, again, he straps you to a Marilyn Manson chair and just tortures you they say she was tortured for 2 days.
Yeah.
And that's how that coincides with FeardotCom and how long they have. So in that 2 days, she somehow got a hand free. Got a pencil, got a slip of paper while strapped to that chair. I guess he was taking a dump or whatever. Somehow was able to scrawl that on it. Knew the address of his apartment, not where she was.
No,
his apartment,
his home address.
He must have told her, or maybe he was going through his mail while he was torturing her.
Yeah.
And she saw the mail.
Yeah, he brought his mail with him. Just like, I have to get to this at some point. And
yeah, he's just paying bills.
Yeah,
because she knows the apartment number.
Yes,
so she writes that down. She shoves it in a lipstick container.
A lipstick tube. Yeah,
and then she has to swallow it.
And then she swallows it.
She chokes it down.
Friends, you can't swallow that.
No.
I mean, there might be some lipstick tubes that you can swallow. I've seen some smaller ones, but the one in this movie is big. Like you would choke to death on this if you tried to swallow it.
And she did all that without getting away, without trying to get away, and using the writing instrument to stab him, perhaps,
and without him noticing.
It is so sweaty. They're like, she must have swallowed it. Okay, moving on.
It's beyond sweaty. It's ludicrous.
It's ludicrous.
It could not have happened.
Yeah. So it's around this point that the ghost just calls our main character.
Yeah. Because fuck it. Never done it before in the movie.
No, never done it before. But I guess the ghost is getting impatient.
Right. Like the rest of us, the ghost is getting tired of being in the movie. Yeah.
Because the ghost had said something like, find my body.
No, it said, find me.
Find me. So, again, she's giving her clues despite not giving anybody else clues.
Hasn't told anybody else that. She tells Stephen Dorff, find me.
I guess maybe the ghost is like, well, these are authority.
Yeah,
like
they'll actually be able
so,
to do something. Yeah, but if that's the case, give them a little more time.
Yeah, and you know what? Give them just the guy's address.
Yeah,
you know it. You swallowed it.
Yeah, just be like, my body's here. His address is here.
Yeah,
that's it.
Or his name, perhaps the name of who killed you.
Yeah,
that would be helpful. And so she just calls her. And I forget what they even talk about.
I forget what she says.
But at this point, there's so many, like, they go to the author of the book. There's nothing. She finds the body. It's not really. I mean, they found the address, so I guess that is
part
something.
of it. Like, but
the ghost clearly saw that they didn't have a handle on the situation.
Yeah, so
and had
she
to call
calls them. Yeah. Why not?
My fucking God! So they finally find him, the killer, who is the cop in V for Vendetta, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's Stephen Ray.
Yeah.
Or Ray, I think is actually how you pronounce his name.
Jeffrey Combs. He calls Jeffrey Combs for backup.
This is somehow another incredible thing.
Yes. Okay. Go on.
They're on their way. They've gone to Stephen Ray's apartment and seen all this creepy bullshit, and they find like this photograph of an old nuclear cooling stack that they recognize from the Ring video on FeardotCom.com. It's like, oh, that must be where he is. They leave. They're on their way there. So Stephen Dorff calls Jeffrey Combs to be like, I need your help. I need some backup. While Jeffrey Combs is playing cards at a diner.
Yeah. For some fucking reason.
He's playing cards and drinking liquor with a guy at a diner.
Yeah.
It's its own separate hour-long conversation. And he's like, "Okay, I'll come. I'll meet you there." But when they get to the stack and ambush Stephen Ray, he's like, "Oh, he like hides behind the woman, and they
gurney,
have and they have a bit of a standoff. And he's like, and I hope you're not waiting for the cavalry because the cavalry's right over there. And they turn around, and he has murdered and crucified Jeffrey Combs because for some reason he beat them there with enough time for Stephen Ray to murder him and hang him up on the wall.
Right. All right. Just hanging him up on the wall, that's got to be what, 20 minutes?
That's like minimum 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. And then some sort of standoff and murder, another 10 minutes.
You need a ladder and like some tools.
Yeah. Like he had it all there, all the equipment, but like, boy, that must have taken a second. Mm-hmm. He has to drag him up there. He has to tie him.
Yeah.
Was Jeffrey Combs, like, did he give Jeffrey Combs the address? And he was like, oh, that's literally right next door.
Yeah, that's right across the street,
Yeah, that's the only way that works.
I'm in the abandoned nuclear facility diner, It's just right. It's right next to it.
What a stupid fucking movie.
Yeah, it was so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, it was such like a ha-ha villain moment, and you're just like, that's not possible.
Yeah,
like,
that's
how
impossible.
did this happen?
How did Jeffrey Combs fuck this up so much that he somehow time traveled?
Right.
He fucked up so badly that he's already dead?
Yeah. He's like, he gets the call and he's like, all right, I'll meet you there. And he gets up and gets into the DeLorean.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck did he get there?
Did he get up, trip, break his neck, fall into a sewer that just flowed him into that guy's room?
Right.
And the guy was like, ew, what's this?
Better hang it up on the wall.
Yeah, better hang it up.
It's God.
So bad.
Nothing in this movie makes sense.
No. But I did love how they get him because Stephen Dorff has the gun pointed. He's using the woman as a human shield, but he's not holding any. Like at one point he holds a scalpel, but he's not really holding a scalpel anymore.
Right, and you could shoot him in the face before he did anything.
Yes. And that's kind of what happens is that she like says something to him. He turns and she distracts him somehow with she holds up the lipstick.
Yeah.
And he looks over and like a little spider, Stephen Dorff skitters to the side and immediately just has him. Like he does the thing you could do at any point. Mm-hmm. And then I think he grazes him.
He shoots him in the leg.
Right. And then a bunch of things happen. That's kind of confusing. He manages to shoot Stephen Dorff.
Yeah, right.
Who had the upper hand.
Right in the chest.
Yeah. So Stephen Dorff dies like an asshole, which he's useless in this movie.
Kinda, yeah.
He gets spooked and goes to the hospital, breaks from the hospital, and then has the guy at gunpoint and somehow still manages to get shot in the chest. Then while he's dying, the killer straps up the woman and is going to do like serial killer shit to her. Everybody's still watching on the stream. Mm-hmm. And Stephen Dorff quickly goes to FeardotCom.com, which apparently is what you just needed to do the entire time. That's all you needed to do.
Mm-hmm. Or shoot him in the face,
Or shoot him in the face. You're
but
right.
I guess that
would
might,
have also been
it might have pissed off the ghost.
Right. And then the ghost FeardotCom.coms him. And his eyes go black?
Mm-hmm. I guess it's like his all of his capillaries exploded and his eyeballs just flooded with blood.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
And so the ghost gets her revenge, and by revenge ghost rules goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Then the cop dies.
Yeah,
and
Stephen Dorff dies.
The woman gets away, and then it cuts to her late at night, and she gets a phone call, and the phone call's kind of weird.
It's just static, yeah.
It's just static. She hangs up, and the movie ends. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what that shit
I don't know what that means, yeah.
Was that the ghost being like, hey, thanks?
I don't know if that was the ghost. I don't know if it was like the ghost of Stephen Ray is now like trapped in the internet, and now he's going to start doing shit. I don't know if it's Stephen Dorff's ghost trapped in the internet. Because technically they both died on a live stream, which is their explanation for why this woman is able to haunt the internet.
You're right. That's why.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know what it means.
This movie is dumb.
This movie sucks.
It sounds like we're having a lot of fun talking about it, but there's just long stretches of nothing.
This movie is not fun to watch. There are so many things that happen in it that absolutely don't matter.
Yes. And none of it makes any sense. The logic of it,
it's not consistent with its own logic. Yeah.
No. Again, more than halfway through, they just start being like, "Oh, and the ghost uses the phone now," and it's like, "Okay, I guess."
Yeah, right. It's like at the hour 10 or hour 15 minute mark when the ghost calls her. Like we've been through most of the movie at this point. She hasn't used the phone.
Right, and at the very end, they do the threat of, "Oh, she gets called in the middle of the night." It's like, so what? The ghost only called her once.
Yeah.
The ghost thing is the internet.
Yeah.
Am I now supposed to be scared of phones too? Because maybe make the movie about phones if that's how you're going to end your movie. Because otherwise, I don't give a shit.
What's the cell phone horror movie?
Cell?
No. There was one that was about haunted cell phones.
Oh. Fuck. There's a couple. There's one about haunted electronics that the Japanese version is actually kind of good. Mm-hmm. Fuck. Shit.
It's like One Missed Call.
One Missed Call is one of them.
Yeah.
There's another one. I'm just Googling haunted cell phone movie, and I'm going to be really depressed by how many things come back.
Pulse.
Wounds, which I still haven't seen. Pulse, thank you. Mm-hmm. The Japanese version of Pulse actually has some creepy shit in it. But the American version, from what I remember, is garbage.
Yeah, I was thinking of it because I remember it had Kristen Bell in it.
Right.
Because there's a bit in Forgetting Sarah Marshall where they're at dinner and Russell Brand is talking to Jason Segel about a dumbass movie about haunted cell phones. It's like,
yeah.
And it's a meta joke because like the Sarah Marshall character was in the movie and that's why they're talking about it. And she's like, well, it seemed really good on the script, and then like Russell Brand is like, no, it was utterly stupid.
Right.
And so they're talking about Pulse, and that's
wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, this has got big Pulse energy, but it's dumber than Pulse.
Man, that's something.
This is an extremely bad movie.
It is. Yeah, it's not only is it boring and not scary, it's also illogical.
Yeah, it also makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's again indicative of like every problem with horror. Like it's the perfect representation of everything wrong with horror in the early 2000s. Except that it's not a remake of a Japanese movie. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing
that would be like
that's
like the one thing it's missing.
Yeah. It is absolute nonsense. Also, the beginning titles looked like a cheap studio logo. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Like the beginning titles, it just goes Fear.com, and then the movie starts, and I was like, wait, was that the title?
Yeah, the end titles are the same.
Yeah.
They spent like $0 on the titles.
The titles look like the editor just slapped down the text filter and didn't do anything, just went with whatever the default font was and typed all the things out. I don't even remember studio logos before the movie. I think nobody wanted to put their logo in front of it. Mm-hmm. It's a real piece of shit. Really can't stress that enough. It's a FeardotCom.com.
Yeah. I'd rather somehow fart into my own mouth than watch this movie ever again.
Oh, yeah. I'd rather have a constant tube going from my anus to my mouth.
Mm-hmm. Just human centipede myself. I would rather do that than watch this movie again.
Human centipede of farts.
Mm-hmm.
It is... I thought I had one more thought, but it has escaped me.
No, that's probably for the best.
Yeah. My goodness. Secret soul of the internet. So
that I can't stress enough that doesn't matter. That does not affect the plot. It
doesn't make
way.
any sense.
Udo Kier and his book don't matter.
Don't matter. You're right. They have no Oh my God!
No,
it really doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter.
They just are people who happen to have gone on Fear.com.
Yeah.
.com.
Yep. Feardotcom.com.
So yeah, check out this film, everyone, for Halloween. Mm-hmm. And thanks to the ghost of Dave Thomas.
Yeah.
I mean, we were gonna watch this movie. This movie had been looming around
this is a
my
movie
Amazon.
that you frequently threaten to watch.
It's been haunting, my Amazon watch list. Mm-hmm. So, I knew we'd either watch it on a Friday night or I would some night put it on by myself.
And it's really, really just in a night of self-harm. Just really soak in this movie.
I had seen this movie a long time ago, and I knew it was very mediocre, and that's all I remembered about it. I just remember being like, oh, it's the director of House on Haunted Hill. That's exciting. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't exciting.
It wasn't at all. There is not one moment of excitement in the entire film.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Ghost of Dave Thomas. This was through our Patreon. Mm-hmm. You can make us. There's a tier where we'll watch things you tell us to.
Yeah, we'll watch whatever you tell us to. Pretty much.
Yeah, so you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We also have our lowest tier. There's 2 exclusive podcasts if you select that tier, called Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. There's a tier where you watch movies with us every Friday night.
Yep.
There's all sorts of stuff there. So go check it out. It's patreon.com/feardotcom.com/gamefullyunemployed.
We also have a store, tpublic.com/stores/gamefullyunemployed. Is that right?
.com.
Saying the fear.com thing is fucked up my memory for some reason. Yeah. tpublic.com/store/gamefullyunemployed. Yeah, we got shirts, mugs, masks, stickers, all kinds of stuff. Ghosts.
Yeah.
It's probably ghosts. It's probably haunted as fuck.
Probably haunted.
Yeah.
Who can say the internet is a big soul that you're trapped? Are we trapped in the internet?
Yeah,
because we podcast.
Yeah, no, I think there's probably enough of us on the internet that you could make a sentient clone.
Tom, I got a pitch for you. Mm-hmm. Haunted podcast movie. Someone's gonna make it, right?
They did it. Didn't they do it on the Twilight Zone?
Jesus Christ. Someone already did it, huh?
I think so. I think that's the Nightmare at 30,000 Feet redo that they did.
It's a haunted podcast?
I think so, yeah. I think Adam Scott is listening to a podcast that starts to become eerily specific.
Oh, haunted podcast.
I believe that's the plot.
We can do a better one.
Yes.
Where, you listen to it and then in, I don't know, 2 years, you die. Mm-hmm. Right? And you die in whatever true crime way you were listening to, something like that.
Yeah, you listen to the podcast, and you get a phone call that says 45 years.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Or you get murdered by a ghost that takes the form of Squarespace or Better Health. Mm-hmm. or like one of those, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll brainstorm.
You get trapped in a dungeon in Joe Rogan's house.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the Joe Rogan podcast is a haunted podcast in its own way.
Yeah.
So we already have that. All right.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and throw that idea out.
Okay.
Moving on.